Heyo! What's up everybody, it's Doka here, and today I have my first ever PvP class guide for Deathblade and Lost Ark. If you like this content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to the video. We'll start with the strengths and weaknesses of the Deathblade. So to start, we have the strengths of the Deathblade, which would include excellent mobility through their abilities like Spin Cutter, Dark Axle, or Surprise Attack. They also have a lot of super armor, most of it being from Maelstrom, and a lot of their attacks also offer it through tripods. Deathblade is also lucky enough to have short burst combos, meaning you can get in and poke someone and get out without taking any damage or receiving minimal damage. And finally, they have a lot of crowd control, allowing them to control the pace of the match as they go on. For the weaknesses, we have long cooldown times, which kind of impedes how much damage we can get in on someone. If we whiff, we can be whiff punished hard, and also if we whiff our surge, that's a lot of damage that we miss out on. And finally, we can be kited by ranged if we don't play correctly. Next, we're going to go over the core abilities of Deathblade. First, we have Spin Cutter, which is going to be your general gap closing move, allowing you to get closer to your opponents. Next, we have Dark Axle, which is going to be your usual combo opener because it allows you to close a little bit of distance, along with get them kind of stunned for a second to set you up for your combo. Next, we have Upper Slash, which allows us to knock opponents up so we can continue our combo or start a combo. We also have Surprise Attack, which is a good combo opener when Dark Axle is off cooldown. It gets us within range and closes gaps, and it also leaves a knock-up behind us once we use the move. Next, we have Headhunt, which is an ability that we use to extend our combos because it stuns people in place. Following Headhunt, we have Moonlight Sonic, which is our main damage move. It's a big AoE that allows us to control positioning as well as get a lot of damage off when a player is CC'd or held down by our combo. This brings us to Maelstrom, which is our main super armor ability due to the tripod that gives us 5 seconds of super armor after we use it. We also have Blitz Rush. We use this ability to poke people from a distance if they're coming in on us without any super armor, or we use it as a combo closer with Moonlight Sonic. Finally, we have our Awakening ability Flash Blink. This allows us to get off a lot of damage in a short amount of time, and it's usually used as a combo closer. Now, I'll go over what tripods I use for the abilities in this build. First off, we have Spin Cutter. The tripod I take for this ability is Swift Fingers. It boosts your attack speed by 15%. The reason we take this tripod is so that way when we catch up to somebody with Spin Cutter and we close that gap, we then have increased attack speed for our auto attacks when we use all of our cooldowns. The next ability is Dark Axle. The tripods I take for this are Swift Fingers for the attack speed, Tenacity for the push immunity, and High Axle because it allows us to close more of a gap when we need to use it. On to Upper Slash. The tripods I take for this ability are Swift Fingers once again for the attack speed, Large Twister because it adds a knock-up to the ability, and Tenacity for the push immunity. We also have Surprise Attack. The tripods I take for this are Wide Angle Attack because of the extra AoE radius. We don't have to be so accurate with our mouse to get right on top of someone. I also take Excellent Mobility with help in gap closing, and then we take Trailing Sword Burst because it leaves a knock-up in our wake when we use the ability. On to the next set of abilities. First, we have Maelstrom. The tripods I take for this are Cold Touch because it adds a countering freeze when we're attacked in Maelstrom, and it will freeze an attacker for 2 seconds. I take Dark Order for the move speed and attack speed buffs, and then I take Stabilized Energy for the paralysis immunity. Next up, we have Headhunt. The tripods I take for this ability are Quick Prep for the cooldown reduction, Quick Hunt because it cuts out the final frame of the attack and allows us to follow up with more moves, and also Enhanced Stun for the increased stun duration. The next ability is Moonlight Sonic. The tripods we take for this are Fist of Darkness for the increased outgoing damage, Sustain Enhancement because it doubles the duration of our move and increases the outgoing damage. This will also change Moonlight Sonic into a charge move. And the final tripod that we take is Shade Sonic, which makes us attack more in Moonlight Sonic and increases the outgoing damage. The final ability we're going to go over tripods for is Blitz Rush, and what I take for this is Vital Point Hit for the increased critical rate, all round because it changes the move from a charge move to a normal move, and it makes sure every hit that we do with it is delivered as an overcharged attack. And then we take Shadow Rush simply for the increased damage, and I also think that it cuts out a frame from the end of the move because it's an after image that attacks instead of our physical character, allowing us to follow up with more moves. To finish out tripods, we'll talk about what tripods we could swap around to change up our gameplay. The first ability that we're able to trade a tripod out on is Surprise Attack. What we can do is we can trade the extra move distance from Excellent Mobility for Impaired Mobility, allowing us to slow down whoever we want to attack. Why would we want to swap this tripod? Just in case we think we're having a little bit of a tough time sticking on anyone, like maybe if we have a problem with ranged, we might want to trade the Excellent Mobility for Impaired Mobility, so if we're able to hit them with the Surprise Attack, we're also able to slow them and keep them locked down in our range. The next ability is Dark Axle. The tripod we could swap here is High Axle for Upper Axle. And why would we do this? We would want to get Upper Axle instead of High Axle if we're having a little bit of a hard time starting combos, because it allows us to knock an opponent in the air, and it also increases our damage and our crit rate. And as for Maelstrom, we could swap out Cold Touch for Orb Control. What this does is it gets rid of our counter freeze in order for us to build up more orb meter, and also it allows us to get the full use out of stabilized energy, because once we use the counter freeze from Cold Touch, stabilized energy no longer takes effect because Maelstrom is actually off of us. To finish off, we'll talk about our two main combos. Keep in mind, these aren't the only combos we can do as a Deathblade. There's also gap closers and mini combos we can get in between. But these are going to be your two main combos for heavy damage. The first combo we have, we open up with the Dark Axle, follow up with Surprise Attack to an Upper Slash, to a Headhunt, and then finish with Flash Blink and a Surge. Our second combo is similar to our first with the opener. We just switch out Flash Blink for Moonlight Sonic, so it goes Dark Axle to Surprise Attack, to an Upper Slash, to Headhunt, to Moonlight Sonic, and then we'll finish with a Blitz Rush and Spin Cutter. We usually want to wait until the end of Upper Slash to be using our Headhunt, so that way we can get the stun off. If you use it too early, you'll miss the stun, and if you use it too late, they could immunity it. So, just make sure you're getting the Headhunt off at the right time. I'll close out with a few general tips for Deathblade players. First, always remember to use Maelstrom before any big damage combos, so you can get your immunity to push and paralysis. Second, always finish with Surge whenever your meter allows you to, which means whenever you have one up, you're allowed to just throw that Surge at them as long as you know it's going to hit, because they're in a CC, or they're on the floor with no dash available. The third tip, play Deathblade as a rushdown offense versus any ranged class. This prevents ranged classes from setting up a lot of openers on us, and allows us to just stick on them and become a thorn in their side, where they're not able to do much. My last tip being, don't always blow every cooldown that you have. Some can be saved. A very big example of this is Spin Cutter. A lot of people use it in every single combo that they have just to blow everything that they got. You want to save it for when you need to close the gap, or you need to get away from a very sticky situation. One thing I forgot to review in the guide that I'm going to go ahead and pop up on the screen now is the combat stats for your Book of Coordination when you're doing team elimination, team deathmatch, or any of the actual PvP in-game. For our Book of Coordination, we take 750 Swiftness, 249 Domination, and 1 Crit. And that completes our Deathblade guide. So, if you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy Doka. Peace.
Bubbles we holding, I look it down. If it's a problem, I go to the bar and I shut it down.